play a good football game. But
right now we still have to concentrate and get ready for the game, but we realized that
thought at all. You know, this is the first time we even looked at any film or anything, obviously. So, you know, we'll just go up there and try to play a good football game.
But right now we still have to concentrate and get ready for the game, but we realized that football is just a game, and what really could happen. This was very devastating for South Florida.
Some of the players headed to Central Florida to avoid Andrew.
You know, I was kind of worried, so I took a little trip with some of the guys, and we drove up to Daytona just for safekeeping.
Offensive coordinator Gary Stevens' home was severely damaged.
There's a lot of things down there that need to be done. You can't get out. It's hard to get in. And, you know, you got no power, you know, food, you know, so, you know, with personal things, you got a lot of problems. But, you know, life goes on. You've got to try to do both.
Meanwhile, the Miami Hurricanes practice site was damaged as well. They bus to Dodgertown at Vero Beach to practice for their September 5th opener against Iowa. Head coach Dennis Erickson's home was nearly totaled by the Hurricanes.
It's just very devastating. And what we've got to do now is get together as a football team, and maybe we're one thing that the people in South Florida and Miami can grasp to that's positive. And
well, ready or not, the college
may play the Patriots in New England on September the 6th and give Miami a home date in late December. The two teams are talking to the league office presently. Joe Robbie Stadium was not damaged by the hurricane, but the large-scale destruction in South Florida has left football far from a priority for a region and a people trying to clean up and rebuild.
Right.
Coming up, the New Orleans Saints and Miami Dolphins. But first, the NFL pregame report, presented by Wrangler.
And good evening once again, everybody. I'm Chris Berman. Welcome to our ESPN NFL pregame report. Yes, I am joined by the merry men, Tom Jackson, Chris Mortensen. Not yet. Not yet. You can't say anything yet, but we've got plenty of football to talk about both in this pregame report and at halftime. And I'll tell you what, for those who have watched football for many a year, it is refreshing to see a game from the Horseshoe, from Memorial Stadium in Baltimore, where the one-time Colts played there, and the city of Baltimore is hopeful that they'll get one of the two expansion franchises maybe as early as the '94 season. Word is they may have moved into the number 2 slot behind St. Louis, ahead of possibly Charlotte and Memphis. They hope a big crowd and a big show tonight will aid their cause. And speaking of the show tonight, we have the Saints, the Dolphins, Mike Patrick, Joe Theismann. Need we say more? No, but they do, guys.
Chris, thank you very much. This is Memorial Stadium in Baltimore, Maryland, where tonight NFL football returns for the first time in 9 years as the Miami Dolphins meet the New Orleans Saints in an NFL preseason special. Good evening, everybody. I'm Mike Patrick. As pro football has evolved over the past decade, the position of outside linebacker has become a focal point of NFL defenses. Pat Swilling for the Saints is the reigning NFL sack champion. And in rookie Marco Coleman, the Dolphins think they have a rising star. For more on the greatest and possibly the latest, here's Joe Theismann.
Thanks, Mike. Pat Swilling has become the standard by which all outside linebackers are measured in the National Football League. In the last 3 years, he's had more sacks than anyone. His 17 sacks in 1991 enabled him to become the Defensive Player of the Year, as well as the highest-paid defensive player in football. He has size, he has speed, he has quickness, he has great feet, all physical features. But the one thing that really sets him apart, the intangible, is his intensity. When Pat wants to get to the quarterback, most of the time, he will get to the quarterback. Now, Marco Coleman, the rookie linebacker for the Dolphins, has shown signs of dominance during the preseason. And when you ask Don Shula, it's something his defense needs desperately.
We just see a complete football player. And when I'm talking about a football player, that's what Marco Coleman is. He loves to play the game. He's tough taking on a tight end. He's good rushing the passer when we put him in our nickel rush.
He's a good enough athlete to drop off in coverage. So we're seeing a lot of the things that this football team needs.
Mike, if Marco Coleman can become a dominant playmaker like Pat Swilling, look for the Dolphins to make a quick return to the playoffs.
Thank you, Joe. Those two, the pride of Georgia Tech, and you can see both of them in action coming up at 7:57 Eastern as the Dolphins meet the Saints. Right now, Chris, back to you.
I love those 7:57 join times, don't you? Well, I'll tell you what. The fact that the Dolphins and the Saints are in Baltimore at all to play this football game is very fortunate with Hurricane Andrew and the way that wreaked havoc on South Florida, Miami, and, of course, Homestead and regions south of that. And then later on in the week, just west of New Orleans, a lot of folks feel very fortunate just to be getting on airplanes and to be playing a football game. Naturally, their thoughts have been other places a little bit this week other than football, but they hope that by playing this game, maybe it takes the mind of the residents, and some of whom are very hard hit, and our heartfelt sympathies too, maybe takes it off what happened in Hurricane Andrew. And maybe the opening game between Miami and New England scheduled for Miami, there's a talk that on September 6th, that could move to New England as a result of the hurricane. No word on that yet. We've got more word on certainly the Saints and the Dolphins, and Joe and Mike will talk more about the hurricane and its repercussions during our ball game. Saints and Fish tonight as our pregame report continues. Stay with us.
ESPN's NFL pregame report is presented by Wrangler, the most comfortable jeans known to man.
Saints, an immovable defense. The Miami Dolphins, an unstoppable offense. Something's got to give when the Saints battle the Dolphins. Thursday night at 8 Eastern, live on ESPN.
Welcome back to our pregame report. A couple of news notes today. Jack Trudeau, backup quarterback, Indianapolis Colts. Jeff George, of course, sidelined for about a month. He signed today, 3-year contract, but it looks like still Mark Herman will open up for the Colts. Darren Mickle, a supplemental draft pick today by the Kansas City Chiefs. Defensive end having problems at Florida. Came to the supplemental draft, a second-round pick used by the Chiefs to pick him. Jay Hilgenberg, longtime Pro Bowl center, Chicago Bears, has been holding out. Tommy, what's new on his... More on them, and a lot of teams with big news this week. The 49ers, the Cowboys, the Redskins. We'll delve into it at halftime. Tell you what, as we approach another season, a lot of records could fall. You'll understand what I mean in a moment if you catch this. "14 years in the making, a trio of Steve Largent's receiving record should fall. The Bills' James Lofton, in his 15th season, needs only 55 yards to surpass Largent's career yardage mark. With 19 catches, Art Monk, the ultimate possession receiver, will break Largent's record of 819 career receptions. Jerry Rice, in 6 fewer seasons than Largent, needs only 8 touchdown receptions to break Largent's total of 100. Rice averages over 13 TDs a year. And with another 1,000-yard season, Rice will have 7 straight, tying him with Lance Allworth for consecutive years with over 1,000. The Rams' Tony Zendejas is 2 field goals shy of breaking Kevin Butler's record of 24 straight. All-around weapon, bar none, Thurman Thomas is looking to become the only player to lead the league in total yards from scrimmage 4 years in a row. His 3 seasons in a row already ties him with the great Jim Brown. Has Eric Dickerson finally found a home in L.A.? E.D. is only 300 yards behind T.D., Tony Dorsett, for second on the all-time rushing list, still trailing Walter Payton by over 4,000 yards. More rushing. Runnin' Randall Cunningham needs but 237 yards to break Fran Tarkenton's quarterback rushing record. Will the knee hold up? Another Tark record may fall. Warren Moon needs to recover only 5 fumbles to surpass Sir Francis's all-time record of falling on 43. Tonight, Don Shula coaches in the Horseshoe. No strange sight because when he began his head coaching career in the Horseshoe, Johnny Unitas, that man was his QB. We'll be back. Field for the Dolphins?
Yeah, Sammy Smith is kind of busting out in Denver. Bobby Humphrey has struggled in Miami. They're looking for him to really assert himself and pick up learning that passing offense with the Dolphins. He needs to do that. Otherwise, he's going to be on the bench when the season starts.
Something we'll keep track of at halftime. We got plenty of football to talk about at halftime, but right now it's the Saints and the Dolphins from Balmer. Here's Mike and Joe with Crab Cakes.
Thank you, Chris. And this is Memorial Stadium in Baltimore, Maryland. For 32 years, it was the home for the Baltimore Colts. And for 7 of those years, Don Shula was their leader. Tonight, Shula returns as the Miami Dolphins meet the New Orleans Saints in an NFL preseason special. For 9 NFL seasons, Miami's Dan Marino has devastated opposing defenses and launched an all-out assault on every league passing mark. But despite his brilliance, the Dolphins have missed the playoffs 5 of the last 6 years.
Football's a team game, and you know that's all part of it. I mean, when you win, I mean that's what a sign of success is. And you know, although I've done well individually, I think that the biggest disappointment is we haven't been as successful as a team as I think I'd like to, and everybody else in the organization.
In 1992, there's renewed hope that rookies Marco Coleman and Troy Vincent can revive a dormant defense.
The big emphasis that I've had with this football team is make plays when you got to make them. In the fourth quarter, when the game's on the line, we've got to have people step up and be counted.
The lure of the NFL's return to Baltimore, not the ravages of Hurricane Andrew, bring the Dolphins and the Saints to Memorial Stadium tonight. And a sellout crowd of 60,000 is here for the city's first NFL action in 9 years. Good evening, everybody. I'm Mike Patrick. There is an air of celebration in Memorial Stadium in Baltimore tonight, but that is in sharp contrast to the air of concern and sadness that surrounds both of these football teams. As you know, Hurricane Andrew devastated parts of South Florida and the state of Louisiana, and that storm certainly had an impact on these players, their families, and their friends. And Joe Theismann, the concern is obvious on the players' faces.
Well, on all players, Mike. You see, the Miami Dolphins, for example, have already started to try and do what they can. They petitioned the National Football League asking them to move their season opener from Miami to New England, because they feel like the services that are going to be used during that game will be better used to help the victims. Also, John Offerdahl, who has a pulled hamstring and is not here, he owns some bagel stores in the Miami area. He's kept his people working 24 hours a day to try and supply bagels and food to the people that need it. There's no question that the players and the teams are doing everything they can to support the effort.
And, of course, all of us at ESPN send out our warmest regards to anyone who was impacted by this storm. And we would ask you, our viewers, to help in the relief effort if you possibly can. But we're also here tonight to talk about a football game. The Dolphins against the Saints. First, the Dolphins. Last year, with 2 games to go in the regular season, Miami looked like it was a lock for the playoffs. Instead, they collapsed. They lost the last 2 and were left on the outside looking in. And Don Shula admitted it was a lousy way to end the season.
It really was a lousy way to end the season, but the entire organization has gotten together. Management went out and they signed the veterans this year like they haven't in the past, so they feel like management's done their job. Wide receivers and defensive backs have come in the offseason to do everything they can to try and get ready. And during the draft, Coach Shula spent 8 of the first 10 drafts on defensive players, most notably Troy Vincent and Marco Coleman. He expects them to start, but he expects them more to be big playmakers. Miami's always had a great offense, and you know, if they're going to return to those glory years of the 70s, Mike, it's going to be up to the defense to do their job.
Speaking of defense, how about the Saints? They're coming off their first ever divisional championship, and they did it with the defense that allowed the fewest points in the NFL. They also had the most turnovers. This is a defense that would like to repeat, but that won't be easy because of their brutal schedule. 7 playoff teams, plus 1 against the Eagles, plus 2 against the 49ers.
But when you look at these teams, they're direct opposites. Miami needs defense. The Saints have got plenty of it. On offense, though, the Saints have to be concerned about Bobby Hebert's health. He was 8-1 last year when he was under center taking snaps. He's got to be healthy. He also has to be efficient in a very controlled passing game because they just don't have big plays. Their offense and running the ball must be consistent as well. You know, if the Saints are looking to repeat for this year, they're going to not have to look for offense this year.
There's Jim Mora entering his 7th year with the Saints, coming off that divisional title and an 11-5 record last season. And Don Shula starting his 30th year as an NFL head coach with 306 victories. He's only 19 wins behind the legendary George Halas. And we are underway in Baltimore, Maryland. Vaughn Dunbar, the first-round draft choice out of Indiana, with the return. Let's take a look at the Saints offense. Bobby Hebert, the quarterback, after a bitter holdout in 1990, he reestablished himself as a starter and a winner. The Saints are a run-oriented team. An unheralded Fred McAfee came out of nowhere last year to lead them in rushing. He's fighting to keep that spot. Entering his 13th NFL season, right tackle Stan Brock can still key the running attack as a dominant drive blocker. Spotted at the 22. 1st and 10, New Orleans. McAfee and Hayward behind Hebert. Hebert to throw on 1st down. Gets it out to McAfee, and he is drilled by Lifford Hobley in his tracks. Let's take a look at the Dolphin defense. Jeff Cross, the best of Miami's down linemen, very quick off the ball. He's the first Dolphin to lead the team in sacks 3 straight years. The linebackers should be better this year with John Grimsley inside. He missed all of 1991 with a damaged knee. And free safety Louis Oliver, a punishing hitter. Last year he led Miami in both tackles and interceptions. Out of the eye this time. Hebert with time in the pocket, floats it deep and overthrown at the 30-yard line intended for Patrick Newman.
Well, that's certainly not the strength of the New Orleans Saints. What they have to do as an offense is what you saw on 1st and 10. They have to try and hit the backside of the backfield, and they really must try and establish some type of a running game. With Dalton Hilliard back, the drafting of Vaughn Dunbar, that's where the focus has been for Jim Moore and his staff. Of course, Bobby Hebert, as I mentioned, he's going to have to be healthy for him to be effective.
They need some healthy receivers, too. They have 4 wide receivers on the field right now, and those are about the only 4 guys that can go out there tonight. Dalton Hilliard is the single setback beside Hebert. Hangs in the pocket over the middle, complete 1st down, but a flag. As the play goes out to the 40, Torrance Small made the catch. Chris Green, who is playing for the injured Troy Vincent, made the tackle.
Flag down on the play. Illegal use of hands to the face, number 42 of the defense.
And it will go against Miami, so a 15-yard gain stands and a 1st down.
Bobby Hebert, never really known for his mobility, doesn't want to run around. But you see the pressure that the Dolphin defense puts on. That's really tough football. When you see a guy coming right up the middle, he's looking right at the defender in his face, still hangs in and makes the delivery.
McAfee. Nice hole up the middle. Took a shot from Louis Oliver as he reached the 45-yard line.
The best way to describe what they're doing is quote-unquote Saint offense. I mean, we see them run the football. When you take a look at Bobby Hebert's passing statistics, it gives you really an idea of where they want to put the football and how they want to put it. You see the completions under 80, or 80 under 10 yards, 50 between 10 and 19. He's not going to throw the ball 20 yards down the field.
2nd and 5. McAfee again got a nice block from Hayward, has the 1st down into Miami territory. J.B. Brown, the right corner, number 37, came up to make the tackle. Boy, Hayward cleared the way.
Ironhead is really not a fullback. He's a guard that got the wrong number. Look at the block. Number 34 on Cox, 51. That's called a pancake. Coaches call those pancakes. When you put the DB on his back, it is a pancake.
And he has had a stack of them in preseason. 260, they may be kidding about that.
You're talking about eating or blocking?
Both. Hayward the single setback this time. And he'll get a chance to drag Cox with him down to the 42-yard line.
It was interesting. When I visited with Vaughn Dunbar, their number 1 pick, he said when he came to New Orleans, Ironhead took him under his wing. He said, Hayward was really great to me. He said, he took me under wing. I figured that's got to send fear into Coach Moore's heart. If he took Vaughn Dunbar under his wing, that means he went to Burger King and every other restaurant in all of New Orleans. And they have him listed right around 280. That's unbelievable.
And at that weight, he can still play, although Jim Morris said he would like to see him lose about 20 pounds. Thinks he can be a great player. Long signal count from Hebert. Play action. Hayward out in the flat, picked up about 3.
I think if there's one football player that can help the New Orleans Saints offense more than anybody, even a healthy Bobby Hebert, although it's essential, is Craig Hayward. If he can stay healthy, if he can keep his weight down and he can play, you get a great blocking back for blitzes and gives Bobby more time. You get a great blocking back on rundowns, and you get somebody who's pretty darn good downfield catching the ball.
3rd and a yard at the Miami 38. Hayward slipped one tackle and lunged forward. He may be just short. The one thing that people question about Hayward is his attitude, but that has never been a problem. He has a great attitude about the game. The only problem he has ever had is that he tends to eat too much and really take himself out of games because he's too heavy to play.
He's fine during preseason because he's in a controlled environment in training camp. As long as he's at the training camp facility of the New Orleans Saints, he's okay. It's when he leaves practice that they really get concerned because, I mean, his brother, his little brother is 400 pounds. I mean, we're talking about one of the smallest guys in the family here.
4th and inches. This is really strength against weakness for these teams. The Saints with that crunching running attack, and the Dolphins have had trouble with power teams. Hayward and McAfee, the backs, 2 tight ends. Hayward got the first down. He reaches the 35-yard line.
In situations 3rd and 1, 4th and 1, the thing you always want to look at if you're watching is watch right along the line. See how the Saint offensive linemen get under the Miami defense? Jay Hilgenberg getting the push, making the hole. Excuse me, Joel. Jay maybe is not in Chicago anymore.
That's right.
But as long as they get under and get a push, that's what creates the problem.
Another first down for the Saints. 9:36 to go, first period from Baltimore. There's no score. Play action again by Hebert. McAfee to the 27-yard line, caught from behind by John Grimsley, who was out all of last year with reconstructive knee surgery, and they were so high on Grimsley when they got him in a trade with Houston for a 3rd-round draft pick. Then he gets hurt in training camp. He's gone all year long, and that's the story of the Miami linebackers. Essentially, you have 4 guys out there that are going to have a tremendous impact on the defense this season.
They can play as long as they stay healthy. You're right. And you see what he's doing, working back into coverage. Number 59, making the tackle. That was what the Dolphins were so impressed with, was his pass covering ability.
2nd and 2. McAfee. Another nice hole. To the 20, ball came loose. Whistle hasn't blown yet, and the Saints get it back at the 24. McAfee, a guy who came off the practice squad last year in Week 8 and ended up leading the team in rushing. What a find he was.
When you have a control offense, you can't afford to put the ball on the ground. You eat the clock up, and then all of a sudden the ball comes out. Now, there's a little bit of extra effort, but Lifford Hobley comes in, pops it loose. I personally think the whistle would have blown under normal circumstances, whatever normal circumstances are.
Another good block by Hilgenberg. A gain of 12. This is the opening drive of the ball game. Excuse me, this is the 12th play of that drive, and we're down to 7:46 to go in the period, scoreless. McAfee, this time only a couple, brought down by Sander. Linebacker out of Louisville, a free agent trying to make this club. McAfee has already carried 4 times for 18 yards, and we have an injury. And that's Brian Cox, the second-year outside linebacker. We'll check on his condition when we come back. 7:26 to go in the quarter. There's no score from Baltimore.
This ESPN NFL special is brought to you by Cadillac and your Cadillac dealer, who could change the way you think about American automobiles. By the people of Nike, who encourage you to just do it. And by American Express Traveler's Checks for 2 at most places where our regular checks are sold.
No score first period. 2nd and 8 for the Saints from the Miami 23. Hebert, a little half roll to the right, pump fake, throws deep, wide open, touchdown, Patrick Newman. A 22-yard strike. And Newman wide open as he beat Chris Green.
It's a little bit of a roll, little pump fake. Very good pump by Bobby. Now it's a gimme. Now it's just a question of not throwing it too far. Chris Green, only in his 2nd year, tried to close to make a big play.
He's in there because Troy Vincent is injured. And here is Morton Anderson with the point after. So Newman catches his 7th pass of the preseason, and it's good for a touchdown. Andrew ripped through the Miami and South Florida area, leaving 300,000 people homeless and causing damage estimated at over $50 billion. Wednesday, it made its way up the Gulf Coast, hitting central and western Louisiana the hardest. New Orleans was fortunate as the eye of the hurricane evaded them and damage was minimal. NFL Charities responded immediately. Before tonight's game, Dolphins owner Tim Robbie joined Saints owner Tom Benson and NFL President Neil Austrian in presenting the Red Cross with a check for $100,000 to aid the disaster relief fund for both South Florida and Louisiana. And we at ESPN encourage all of America to join in and help that relief effort. Morton Anderson will kick off for the first time in preseason. He has been troubled by tendinitis in his knee. Bernie Parmalee and Mike Williams are deep to receive. And Parmalee, 2 yards deep in the end zone, will take it. And if he's got tendinitis in the knee, you ought to give it to every kicker in the league. It's 7-0. We'll be back in a moment. We're in Baltimore, Maryland for an NFL preseason special. The Saints are leading the Dolphins 7-0. They scored on their first possession. Now it's Miami's turn from their own 20. Marino leads them out with Page and Humphrey behind it. Bobby Humphrey. Nice hole for his first carry, 7 yards. Dan Marino still has it all in that Miami offense. The quick release, the live arm, the competitive fire. You wouldn't even mind throwing less touchdowns if it translated into victories. Mark Duper gave the offense a boost last year, racking up his first 1,000-yard season since '86, tied with the team lead with 70 catches. And an excellent pass-blocking line features Keith Sims, who's also a wonderful drive blocker at 310 pounds from his left guard spot. 2nd and 3, Dolphins. Trying to give the Saints a little of their own medicine with that ground game. Let's take a look at the Saints defense. Up front, Jim Wilkes still does the job in his middle, and in the 12th year, he gets a push up the middle and pursues very well. The linebackers are simply superb. Pat Swilling has a huge new contract justified by leading the NFL in sacks a year ago with 17. And Vince Buck will be critical to the secondary. He tied for the team lead with 5 interceptions last year, but suffered a career-threatening neck injury. It looks like he's over that, and they certainly hope so. It is the first down Miami from their 30. Bobby Humphrey gets about 3, and right now we'll check in with Chris Berman. Chris?
All right, Michael, thank you. The Jets and Eagles playing for the second time this preseason, this time at the vet the Jets won in Canton. Herschel Walker knocked out of bounds, hit by Lonnie Young, and Young turns his back, and Herschel didn't like it. Herschel got in a little bit of a scrap earlier in the preseason. He and Lonnie Young go jaw to jaw. Jimmy Mack, he's back from 13 yards to Keith Byers. Touchdown, second quarter. The Eagles lead the Jets 7-0. Back to Ballmer.
All right, thanks, Chris. That means you've been here before. You know how to pronounce it. We're knee-deep in crab cakes already with 4:55 to go first quarter. Marino again on the ground to Humphrey behind Page, who just signed. And he'll pick up a couple of yards. And, Joe, obviously, Bobby Humphrey for Sammy Smith straight up one of the biggest deals. And Dolphins feel they got the better of it.
I think they did as well. When you read the quotes from Dan Reeves, he said this was not a deal that we felt like was the best deal. It was the only deal. Bobby Humphrey, certainly, he can be one of the rare three-down backs in the league. He doesn't have to come out on third down. Big enough to block. Certainly got excellent pair of hands.
And had 1,000-yard seasons in his first 2 years before seeing very limited action a year ago. Aaron Craver is into the backfield right now on 3rd and 3. They like to use him on third down. Here's the blitz. Marino unloads. Incomplete. Just off the fingertips of Mark Duper. So Miami will have to punt the ball away.
Reginald Jones back on the coverage for the Saints.
And you'll get to see Reggie Roby. The best average of his career last year, 45 or 45.7, led the NFL.
His first kick of the preseason only went 75 yards.
And Patrick Newman is back a long way to receive. Just killed it. Lets it go. This punt went 63. So Roby will force New Orleans to set up shop at their own 20. Back in a moment.
You can keep
minutes, 56 seconds to go in the first quarter. New Orleans leading Miami 7-0. There's Marco Coleman, the first-round rookie out of Georgia Tech, where he broke Pat Swilling's career sack record.
Tom Olivadotti, the defensive coordinator of the Dolphins, is really counting on Marco Coleman to step up and play big. They know he's going to start. And it's interesting, looking at the Saints offense, they haven't run the ball to his side yet, so he has immediate respect from the opponent.
Dalton Hilliard in his tailback behind Hayward, who flips to a wing. Hilliard behind Hayward will get a couple. Brian Cox back in there, by the way. John Grimsley was in on that last stop. Cox was shaken up earlier.
This is a reason why they didn't want to run to Coleman's side. Watch him play off the blocks. Tight end releases down inside. Hobie Brenner holds his position. He takes on a tackle. Takes on Big Jim Dombrowski, holds his position, closes the hole down, allows the defense to collapse in pursuit and make the play.
The big linebacker at 259 pounds, and he can run. 2nd and 7. Hebert with time. Throws complete. Terrence Small makes the grab, covered at the 29-yard line by Brian Cox.
Admittedly, the Dolphin weakness has been stopping the run. Nothing is more graphic than what you see in front of you. When they win, they only let people rush for under 100 yards. When they lose, teams run for over 200.
And how many times have we seen the thugs, if you will, of the NFL just line up and play smash mouth?
Well, one thing Coach Shula said is he wanted his defense to have more of a physical presence. He didn't want teams to feel like they could just line up and do it.
And he thinks Cox and Coleman will really help in that regard. Here's Hayward. Lifford Hobley wisely goes for the knees of 260-pound plus Craig Hayward.
Excuse me, to what?
260 plus. Plus how much?
20.
We don't know.
At this point. You know, he's just a great, engaging guy. He jokes it up all the time. He was joking around in the locker room before. I just think he could be such a great asset to the Saints. It's all in his hands, how well he does.
Dolphin defense tonight, of course, playing without John Offerdahl, Troy Vincent, Jarvis Williams. They're all out with minor injuries. Williams and Offerdahl should be back for the opener. It may take Troy Vincent another week. Hebert again with a lot of time and complete out to the 39-yard line. Newman makes the catch again. Mark Sander on the coverage.
If you didn't know this was 1992, you'd swear you were watching the Saints early in 1991. They're not fancy. They're not going to fool you. They don't get big plays out of their offense. What Bobby Hebert does is they run the ball, little play action. Carl Smith says, okay, let's go up the field. It's 3rd down and 6. Let's either hit the tight end or run the wide receivers on crossing patterns. And he's getting, that's exactly what he's getting tonight.
2nd and 3. Play action again by Hebert. Dumps it to Hayward. Cox has him dragged forward to the 48-yard line. It will be a 1st down. Tomorrow night, Major League Baseball will come your way with a live doubleheader at 7:30. Most of the nation will see Cincinnati against the New York Mets, who gave up on David Cohn today. Got what they could. Then at 10:30, most of you will see Pittsburgh against the Padres from San Diego. Hebert, a fine first quarter so far. 8 out of 9, 73 yards. And as Joe said, just the kind of efficient offense that they need out of their quarterback. Dalton Hilliard hit hard as he got to the 49-yard line. Picked up a couple. Was hit by John Grimsley and Marco Coleman. And very rapidly, that's the end of the first period of play from Memorial Stadium in Baltimore. Joe Theismann, glad you could join us on a Thursday night from Memorial Stadium in Baltimore, Maryland. So far, the Saints extremely efficient, doing exactly what they do best.
Well, the Dolphins have had the ball 4 plays in the first quarter. The Saints have probably had it, I'm guessing, about 13 of the 15 minutes. They play football like this all year long. Of course, with Bobby Hebert, they were 8-1 when they played this style of offense. Run the ball, play action pass, dink it off, get down around the goal line, take some shots. Saint offense.
And the first shot they took down around the goal line, it got them a 22-yard touchdown pass. 2nd and 7. McAfee, the deep man in the eye. And he'll get the call behind Hayward. Looked like he had some running room outside. Instead, decided to stay inside. Picked up maybe 2. Sean Lee in the bottom of the pile. The Goodyear Blimp Spirit of Akron is with us tonight, floating overhead, providing us with the aerial view of Memorial Stadium. And there's a ground shot of Goodyear Blimp Akron. And we had some very threatening weather early this evening. Before this game started, they were calling for threats of severe thunderstorms. Didn't know whether we would be able to have the blimp with us, but it's here, providing those pictures of Memorial Stadium you haven't seen in a long time. From the shotgun on 3rd and 5, and Hebert with a chance to pick it up running. Nice little pump fake to give himself some room. And Hebert down to the 25-yard line. Gain of 22, and Joey sold the fake very well.
Well, nobody expects Bobby Hebert to take off with the football. He's very capable of running with the football, although he hasn't rushed for many yards. 60% passer, so you figure he's going to throw the ball on 3rd down and 10. Watch the middle open up. Everybody's out in the patterns, even the back. Good job by the offensive line. Looks up, get the ball up a little. That's it, Bob. Just fool him. Now head for the sidelines. Get as much as you can and then get out of bounds.
Another 1st down for the Saints. They've reached the Miami 26, already leading 7-0. Play action. Hebert over the middle. This is small to the 10, to about the 7-yard line. Excuse me, Dowdell, and he is brought down by Chris Green. Marcus Dowdell, the 10th round draft choice out of Tennessee State. And Jim Mora, who was so upset about last week's performance, must be thrilled right now.
Oh, he's absolutely excited. I mean, he's probably asking who's vomiting in the stands this time. Look at the job Hobie Brenner does on Marco Coleman. That's a put down by the big guy. That's why you keep a tight end on the end of the line. You don't want to give the quarterback two open sides to have pressure coming from outside linebackers. The big tight end gives him a chance, at least on one side, to have the confidence to know that he's protected.
Hebert, 9 out of 10, 92 yards. Ironhead Hayward to the 5. Sean Lee again on the bottom of the pile, holding on to the ankles.
One of the things they want to do on offense, the Saints, is dominate play. 23 offensive plays to 5 for Miami. Tom Olivadotti has seen this too often last year. Look, you know that signal. Just sort of thumbed his, obviously it's a defensive signal, but it was apropos to, I think, the way things have worked out for him.
Second down, ball at the 5. And Hayward has already shown you his value in this ballgame. Here's the sweep. Dalton Hilliard to about the 2. Hayward has either carried or been the lead blocker on nearly every offensive running play. John Grimsley was in on the tackle. And if Dalton Hilliard can come back, what a boost it would be for this team.
Number 34, watch the block that he puts on. Craig Hayward, watch the block that he puts on. Moves on the outside, gets on the outside, sets up the block. Hobley knocks him out. Look at that hole. Look at the crater Hilliard has to run through. It's like having a guard pull for you. We've seen him run the ball well. We've seen him catch the ball well. Now we've seen him block very well.
Played only 7 games last year because of injuries. Was suspended for a couple of games. Hilliard on the sweep behind Hayward. Touchdown. Prototype drives that show how good the Saints are at what they do and show the deficiency in Miami's defense.
Watch number 34 again, Craig Hayward. The lead block, right part of your screen. Hilliard takes the pitch, strings it out nice. Look at that block. Absolutely cut down Hobley again. Left part of your screen this time. Takes him out. They do a good job of running Coleman out into no man's land. Big crater.
Morton Anderson with the point after, and Lifford Hobley probably doesn't want to see Craig Hayward.
This ESPN NFL special is brought to you by Isuzu, makers of incredible four-wheel drives. By McDonald's, home of the new McDonald's guarantee. And by Walmart, always the low price, always.
Saints 14, the Dolphins nothing. Morton Anderson, more than half of his kickoffs a year ago were touchbacks. He's 1 for 1 tonight. Won't be this time. Mike Williams on the return. And Williams brought down just shy of the 20-yard line. Let's take a look at those 2 Saints scoring drives. The first one, 77 yards, but look at the time, 8:01. It's more than half of the first quarter. Now they're over a quarter in 2 drives, then nearly 16 minutes. This one goes 80 yards, 7:58. If the other team doesn't have the ball, they can't beat you.
And it also puts a lot of pressure on Miami's offense because they know that unless they get something going, they're going to be gone for a while.
And Miami's defense has already been on the field a ton. Aaron Craver is the deep back, and Craver got maybe 1. Wilkes got a piece of him.
This doesn't help the Miami offense at all. As a matter of fact, doesn't help Coach Shula in his general plan for preseason. They want to work on the running game. They want to give Craver and Humphries an opportunity to run the football. But when you're not on the field very much, you just don't want to go 3 and out and put your defense back out there. They're going to have to let Danny start throwing the ball around.
Tony Page is the up back. He just signed his contract after holding out a terrific lead blocker. throw. Some pressure. Duper got it. Duper beat Reginald Jones by a step, had to turn, but did and made the catch.
Super Duper, that's the nickname, and you'll see why he earns it. Does a nice job of getting to the outside shoulder and staying there. Little out and up move. Jones just took a little bit of a bite. Now he's trying. Look at him adjust to the ball. One hand flip, catch. Big Danny doing exactly what he's supposed to do, hang it up high. What great confidence he has in his receivers.
Tied Mark Clayton for the team lead in receptions with 70 a year ago. Keep it on the ground for a couple with Aaron Kramer. From 1983 to 1986, Duper in 3 of those 4 years went over 1,000 yards. But then he was subject to a lot of injuries. Some people started to whisper his career might be over, but he showed them a year ago. Came back 1,085 yards, caught 70 balls, and that's just the kind of juice Dan Marino needs on the outside. 2nd and 8 here as Miami has gotten into Saints territory for 37. Marino under some pressure. Swilling has him from behind. Jackson was also putting on pressure, as was Wayne Martin, and the pocket just collapsed. We should point out that Richmond Webb, the starting left tackle, is not in there tonight. He has a sprained toe and won't play.
Jeff Dallenbach, number 65, has taken his place. Swilling with the hard rush outside. But, you know, I mean, you're asking James Saxon, who does a pretty darn good job of holding his position on Swilling. Good job by the secondary of the Saints to make Dan hold the ball.
Because he did appear to have enough time to throw that ball. 3rd and 12. Marino, a little half roll this time. Martin after him, got away. Launches it for the end zone. Double coverage, almost intercepted. Reginald Jones had his hands on it. That ball was about 5 yards underthrown, intended for Scott Miller in the end zone.
Scott Miller actually has a chance to make a play on this. Goes to show you the competitive nature of Dan Marino. He stops by the sidelines. Miller tries it. He actually has the ball, but then the contact is what knocks it away. And he knows it, too.
Patrick Newman waits inside the 10 for Roby's punt. High and short fair catch signal made just outside the 15-yard line. A punt of 26, but Roby did his job. No return. The Saints continue to lead here in the first half, 14-0. The Saints lead it by 2 touchdowns.
Coaches coming into the preseason set up their agendas, and what they want to do, or these are the things that they'd like to work on. For example, the Dolphins, they need to develop the offensive line, add injuries and holdouts that stunted the growth last year. They want to balance the offense. They have to take some pressure off of Dan Marino running the football. And, of course, the third is defense, defense, defense. And we've seen it tonight. 25th in total defense, 27th rush, tied for 27th, only 21 takeaways. That's the number you have to focus on. That's what they'd like the defense to do, is get more aggressive.
And they have been in preseason. They've been very successful so far with 11 takeaways by that defense. Vaughn Dunbar is now in at running back, number 32 behind Hayward. And he'll get the carry. Another good block by Hayward. And Vaughn Dunbar, who runs very hard for his size, out to the 24-yard line, where Marco Coleman and Chris Green made the stop. The offense for Miami, as Joe has pointed out so often over the years that we've done Miami games, has really never had a problem. But look at 1990. The offense went down to 14th, but the defense came up. They were 12-4 and made the playoffs, and it's the old NFL axiom.
That statistic and that graphic right there tells you the importance of defense. Teams that play good defense are going to win in this league. There's no two ways about it, and that's what that man's responsibility is, Tom Alvadati. And he felt like this was really the first year since he's been there that the Dolphins have really committed to trying to get some quality personnel. They added Joe Green to teach that defensive line how to be just a tad more tenacious. And believe me, he will make them that way.
2nd and 2. Vaughn out. Nailed in the backfield. Dwight Hollier, a very impressive 4th-round draft choice out of North Carolina. The rookie made the big hit.
Talking to Coach Schuler earlier today, you look at number 64. Does a nice job of playing off the block, moves outside. They really found like they got themselves a lucky one in this rookie. He gives them some, he calls it physical presence on defense. He's big. He's 242. He's big in the middle. He's 6'2". Gives him a good backup to Grimsley and Offerdahl.
3rd and 2 after the loss on the last play, and Dalton Hilliard in as the single setback. Four-man rush. Hebert, and it's overthrown, intended for Marcus Dowdell. Michael Magruder on the coverage, and pretty good coverage it was for the 3rd-year man out of Kent State.
You know, you just can't blame Bobby for not throwing the ball that proficiently down the field because the offense never features it. If Dan Marino struggled doing it, you could say something, but Bobby Hebert really doesn't get a chance to practice it that much.
Scott Miller is waiting for the punt.
Number 6, Tommy Barnhart, going to bring to the Saints.
Miller trying to make this team as a punt returner, makes the fair catch at the 37 to 39-yard punt. The score 14-0.
Hurricane Andrew's devastating winds and rains have left thousands of families hungry, homeless, and in shock over their losses. Right now, Red Cross workers are working around the clock to provide food and shelter from the storm. You can help victims of this and many other disasters. Please call 1-800-842-2200.
14-0, New Orleans. Miami has the ball 1st and 10 at its own 37-yard line. Play action by Marino. And throws incomplete, intended for Martin at the sideline. Good coverage over there by Reginald Jones, and that is in downstairs in Memorial Stadium here in Baltimore. Some of the legendary players that played for the Baltimore Colts putting on their game jerseys. John Unitas, number 19. Artie Donovan sitting in the background, number 70. Unitas, for my money, still the best that ever played that position.
Artie Donovan doing what he does best. Sitting relaxing. A true legend.
From one legend to another. Craver. Boy, the Saints can play the run. Just a tremendous defense, and that was middle guard Jim Wilkes who made the stop.
When you talk to the Saint defensive players, Sam Mills, number 51, he said, I asked him, I said, can this defense get better? He said, yeah. He says, we were ranked number 2 last year. We can be number 1. Of course, the Philadelphia Eagles were, so that's their goal, is to be the number 1 defense in football.
And those linebackers may be the best crew that has ever played this game in the National Football League.
I think as a set, you'd be hard-pressed to find 4 better.
3rd and 9 for Marino, who goes to the shotgun. Here comes Swilling from the outside. Dellenbach, a good job of pass protection, but overthrown by Marino, trying to hit Robert Clark, the Plan B acquisition from the Detroit Lions.
Robert Clark on the outside really is not the kind of guy who should play outside. He's a much better inside receiver. He works the middle of the field a lot better than he does getting stuck on the outside in a limited working zone.
It's one of the reasons he's out there right now is Mark Clayton has a neck injury and will not play tonight.
Let me mention 3 linebackers to you and tell me what you think where they fit. Lambert, Ham, and Russell.
That's not a bad set either.
Yeah, but you see, the Saints have 4.
Yeah. Newman disdains the fair catch. And that's what Jim Morrow wants to see out of that return game is he gets 9 yards after a 40-yard punt. Nice job by Patrick Newman. We'll be back in a moment. 14-0 with 4:51 to go in the first half. We're at Memorial Stadium in Baltimore, a sellout crowd of 60,000. Here is the Budweiser storyline for tonight's preseason game. Bobby Hebert with a sharp first half. New Orleans just totally dominated in this ball game in terms of yardage, time of possession, 2 scoring drives that took more than 10 plays apiece, and they lead 14-0. Hebert, quick out, completes it to Nate Bolton out of Mississippi College.
You know, one thing I ought to point out, Mike, is that Bolton is the only guy that's really had any experience in the receiving corps. All their receivers are out. Martin, Carroll, they're all gone.
Turner,
Quinn Early, and all but Martin are in camp. They just have little nicks, and they want to save them for the season opener.
2nd and 2 with the clock running. 4:23 to go in the half. It's in all New Orleans. Hayward ramming his way for a first down to the 39-yard line.
When you visit with Jim Mora, he tells you what his preseason agenda is, and we'll tell you. They want to build depth in the secondary. I mean, they drafted Tyrone Leggett, Sean Lumpkin to try and improve that area. They want to improve the running game. That's why they went after Vaughn Dunbar. Of course, Dalton Hilliard's back, and then improve the special teams. He felt like the special teams was the poorest area on his ball club last year. And if you look at the difference in 91, they gave up 24 yards of kick return and 2 TDs.
And that's field position, which translates into victories. 1st and 10, Hayward the single setback. 2 tight ends, 2 wide receivers. 4-man rush. Hebert hangs in the pocket and throws too high, intended again for Nate Bolton.
Jim Mora, you know, the interesting thing about his philosophy on special teams, Mike, is that he doesn't look for a specific individual. For example, when we talked about Mel Gray, he said, hey, I made a mistake. I should have never let him go. He said, I was a part of it. That absolutely hurt us. He is really searching for a punt returner, but not just a guy who can return punts. He wants a guy who can also play another position, a wide receiver or a DB.
Whereas some other coaches will keep a return specialist regardless of whether he can contribute in another area. 2nd and 10. Dunbar. Not much this time. Sean Lee, the nose man out of Northern Alabama. He missed most of 91 with a ligament injury.
And he's one of those guys who's rededicated himself in the offseason. He lost 40 pounds, started working out with his brother Mike, who's a boxer, to work on some football skills, use his hands, use his feet a little bit better. Really came into camp with something to prove.
They got him in a trade with Miami, or with Atlanta. And counting on Lee to play well this year. 3rd and 10 for the Saints as Hebert goes to the shotgun with 4 wide receivers. Hebert intended again for Nate Bolton, but well overthrown that time. And good coverage by Lifford Hobley, the free safety.
Number 28, Michael McGruber.
Coaches look at different aspects of a preseason game. This is one aspect I'm sure Coach Shula is very pleased with. Marco Coleman doing a nice job of taking Richard Cooper up the field, gives him a little swim, and then comes in and zeroes in on Bobby Hebert.
Barnhart to punt, and Scott Miller waits near his 10-yard line. Miller was 5th in the AFC a year ago in punt return. High, short kick. Takes a great bounce for the Saints. Inside the 10. That one bounced like it was on artificial turf and down to the 7. A punt of 51 yards for the Saints' all-time leader in career average, Tommy Barnhart.
51-yard punt.
ESPN will kick off its college football season next Thursday night at 7:45 Eastern. It all begins with the weekend kickoff show as Chris Fowler, Lee Corso, and Craig James will preview some of the big games on the first Saturday of college football. And at 7:57 off to Lubbock, Texas, where number 15 ranked Oklahoma will take on Texas Tech. Mike Gottfried and I will be there to bring you that ball game next Thursday.
That's
Hope
right.
you'll be with us.
That's right, partner. You had a short week.
Certainly do. 2 minutes and 14 seconds to go in a rapidly moving first half. Miami has been ineffectual on offense. Of course, if you're wondering why this game is in Baltimore, it was set long ago before Hurricane Andrew, and they sold it out in less than 2 hours. 60,000 tickets as this city, which lost the Colts, trying to get an expansion franchise. And, Joe, from what we understand, they are really in the hunt for it.
Oh, they really are. You know, there are five cities left, and October is supposedly a decision time by the owners in the expansion committee to find out if they're going to add to and when they're going to add to. There are the 5 cities. Baltimore, of course, where we are tonight. Notice how I said that, Baltimore. St. Louis, Memphis, Charlotte, and Jacksonville, Florida. All 5 of these cities really, really have tried very hard, worked very hard to make excellent presentations. I'll tell you, the owners do not have an easy choice, whichever 2 they pick out of those 5.
Well, they want the ball here in Baltimore. It's always been a great sports town. Marino gives it to Craver. He's crossed the 10. Of course, that expansion process is all tied to the signing of a new collective bargaining agreement, which this league has been without for quite a while. The trial proceeding in Minnesota. And if that doesn't get done, there may not be expansion, at least not a decision in this fall. It's Ford joining Chris Berman, and he'll have all the NFL training camp news and a lot of late trades, making it interesting. Major League Baseball updates also coming your way. And our NFL Roundtable previewing the 92 season, including our own Joe Theismann.
Chris, Tommy, Mort, and me.
Aaron Craver in the backfield with Marino on second and 6. Marino's hit only 1 of 5. And this one, is it a catch or is it a trap? It's a catch. Scott Miller went down and got it.
I know what you're doing. You're waiting for the old IR, baby. And you know something? I think it would, well, we're in a 2-minute situation. This is why I'm glad instant replay isn't part of it. Now Marino can stay in the rhythm. If we had instant replay, the game would have been stopped. But he's in a bit of a rhythm. See how much that rhythm affected? It's such a good rhythm. That time he was 5 yards away from Craver.
Craver coming out of the backfield, and once again, the pocket was collapsing around Marino.
I was talking to Dan in warm-ups, and he felt good. But he was concerned because Richmond Webb wasn't there. I mean, he realizes how good this defense is he's up against. And he definitely wasn't feeling the most comfortable guy in the world. And it's showing.
Second and 10.
Steve Sidwell, the defensive coordinator of the Saints, concerned about this aspect of his defense, the 2-minute defense. Feels he's a bit conservative, doesn't want to really back off.
Marino to Clark, made the catch, had it knocked away. Incomplete. Robert Clark over the middle, and Reginald Jones was right there to knock it away the moment he got his hands on it.
Reginald Jones has had himself a busy night tonight. Making a lot of plays. Robert Clark right up the middle, right by the 20. You see him hit the inside seam. Ball gets over Ronaldo Turnbull. Looked like Robert Clark had a real shot at making the catch. Jones just knocked it away.
He had 3 interceptions a year ago, and that tied for second among NFL rookies. 3rd and 10 for Marino here. Trying to buy some time in the pocket. Connects with Cooper at the 39-yard line. First down. He was covered by Brett Maxey, who ended his 32-day holdout earlier this week.
It just amazes me when Dan Marino has confidence, and I know the feeling, when a quarterback has confidence in a receiver, he steps up, loads the gun, and then just turns it loose. With everybody else, he's just not quite as certain. With Robert Clark, he's just quite not as comfortable. course, the offensive line giving him an excellent job. Doing an excellent job for him. Sims, boy, they're just not letting Turnbull anywhere near Dan. That whole left side's gone. Super Duke with the catch.
And Dellenbach has done a nice job at left tackle filling in for Richmond Webb. Swilling got past him once, but that was after Marino had waited in the pocket a long time.
We also talked about the fact that Coach Sidwell had mentioned that you got to play third downs in the 2 minutes, like you play them during the game. Quite often, teams play off and they give up the easy completions, and all of a sudden they're back on their heels when the other team gets inside the opponent's red area.
Minute 19 to go in the half. First down, Miami. Turnbull puts on the pressure. Marino dumps it off to Craver. And Craver hit at the line of scrimmage. The Saints really swarmed on that. Sam Mills, the first man there. Craver was really a disappointment a year ago. They wanted him to be the dominant third down back. They thought he caught the ball extremely well and could break a lot of tackles, but he never did it. Clock running, 50 seconds to go in the half. Marino throws inside. Clark turned outside, and they wanted a flag. So Don Shula.
Well, Coach Shula saying, geez, they're grabbing my guys downfield. You're not throwing a flag?
Clark came over in Plan B from Detroit. Has the reputation of running very disciplined routes inside. 3rd and 8 now. 46 seconds to go in the half. Marino rifles it to Martin. First down at the 45. A gain of 14. Reginald Jones again in on the play.
That was a great timing pass. Marino let that ball go long before Martin made his break. Just cleared the defensive back, and boom, the ball was right there.
And Tony Martin, a converted quarterback out of Mesa, Colorado. And he has really developed this preseason. Just a reminder, we at ESPN encourage you to join in and help the Red Cross to provide relief for the many hurricane victims. If you would like to make a donation with a credit card, call 1-800-842-2200. If you would like to make a donation by mail, send it to the American Red Cross Disaster Relief Fund, Post Office Box 37243, Washington, D.C., the zip code 20013. And we'll show that phone number and the address again later in our telecast, so you might be able to help, if you possibly can, all the victims of that natural disaster.
It is a great opportunity for everyone to get involved in helping their neighbors out, whether they live in the Florida area or the Louisiana area.
The sustained cheers you are hearing from this Baltimore crowd involves not only the game having the NFL back, but the Colts marching band, which is never disbanded, coming out on the field. 1st and 10. Craver caught by Mills and dropped for a 2-yard loss. Sam Mills.
To see Dan Marino run a shovel pass, I don't think it's going to be a featured part of the Dolphin 2-minute offense.
15 seconds and counting. Marino under pressure, throws nearly intercepted. Vince Buck got his hands on it. He had 5 picks a year ago to tie for the team lead. Couldn't bring that one down. And that leaves 9 seconds on the first half clock.
There's Vincey Buck with the neck problems a year ago. Right-hand part of your screen just reaches into the seam, almost makes a spectacular catch. One of the things he's wanted to work on is being able to maintain an aggressive nature, understanding the condition that he has physically.
And now the Colts fans cheering their former heroes, Unitas Mackey, Jim Parker, et al. And they will be part of the halftime ceremony here. Marino to Martin. They've got a flanker screen set up. And Martin down to the 31-yard line with 2 seconds to go. They'll stop the clock. A gain of 13. Nicely devised play there.
You know, the Saints are figuring that Dan's going to drop back and just hang the ball up down around the end zone. We have a jump ball. We go in. Half's over. They do a nice job of delaying. He comes underneath, gets into the central part of the field to give Stojanovic an opportunity. And boy, he was kicking him from 56 yards out during warm-ups.
And Stojanovic can kill it. I mean, he already has 6 field goals of over 50 yards for the Dolphins. He's only in his 4th year. Very accurate and very strong. Stojanovic trying to get the Dolphins on the board. Jim Jensen will hold it. And it just got there. Stojanovic from 47 yards, and Miami on the last play of the half finally scores at the end of the half. It's New Orleans 14, Miami 3. We'll join Chris Berman.
All right, Mike and Joe, thank you very much. The Saints leading the Dolphins at halftime. More from Memorial Stadium shortly. Plenty of football to talk about.
They have poured their heart out to him. There's Coach Shula going out. I was talking to Don down on the field in pregame warm-ups. He could barely look. All he wanted to do was look around in the stands and see the faces and get the feeling again. This is a very excited moment for him as well. And you know, it's interesting, Mike, when you look at the highlights of John Mackey, those are not just 1 or 2 highlights that have been pulled out of a career. That is a career.
Right.
That's what the man did. He just broke tackle after tackle.
And, of course, Don Shula, Coach John Mackey, here's what he had to say about his former great tight end.
John Mackey was the first, to me, prototype tight end. A guy that might have been a great fullback, but we used him at tight end because he had great blocking ability, and he had the ability to get down the field. So you had this tremendous athlete playing tight end for you. You could use him on end arounds. He was great after he caught the football. Some of the great plays in the Colt highlights are Mackey after he catches the football, running over people and getting into the end zone. So one of the true great athletes that's played in this league.
One of the privileges of being a great coach like Don Shula is you get to experience moments like this with former great players that you've had throughout your career, and that is the Hall of Fame ring given to John Mackey tonight.
And what I think is so special, knowing that this is the only place that he's wanted to do it, is to share it with the fans that he played for and the teammates that he played with.
Really an emotional night for these people who lost their team several years ago, and in a battle right now as one of the expansion cities, hoping to get another club back. They're already crossing off the competition. They've already voted.
I think the votes are in from this part of the country.
And we're set to go in the second half as Morton Anderson unloads another one into the back of the end zone. Bernie Parmalee takes it there, and they'll start at the 20-yard line. Here are the first half stats. Passing yards pretty even, but the Dolphins only got 25 yards rushing. The biggest stat is time of possession, because the New Orleans Saints just took the ball and rammed it right down the throat of the Miami defense.
You know, the Dolphins were 3 for 6 on third down conversion. Any coach would accept that, except the problem is he had the ball half as much as the other guys.
And Bobby Humphrey, the running back, along with Tony Page, behind new quarterback Doug Pedersen out of Northeast Louisiana. Played very well in the last preseason game. Here's Humphrey. Breaking tackles across the 30 to the 33-yard line, where Reginald Jones had to make another tackle.
That was sort of the way the Dolphins started the first series they had the ball. He gave the ball to Bobby. He picked up 8 yards on that one. This one he picks up 11.
Joe, this franchise has not had a 1,000-yard rusher since Delvin Williams back in the late 70s. Is Bobby Humphrey the guy to do it for him?
I think he is, because like I say, Mike, he can play on all 3 downs, so he's going to get that additional down, third down, to have a chance to run the ball and take some of the pressure off Marino.
And, of course, he needs to help upgrade that Dolphin running attack. 25th in the league, less than 100 yards altogether. Here's Humphrey. Cut through a seam, breaks outside, showing speed and power, and then takes a late hit out of bounds. Ricky Jackson shoved him out of bounds, but Brett Maxey got there late.
The thing about Bobby Humphrey is he's not going to run away from every defensive back. He's not just going to leave him, but he's going to get the tough yards for you. He has excellent feet going through the hole, excellent pair of hands, sees where the hole has to be, makes his move, and goes out. Number 74, Mark Dennis, see him, gives him the crease, does a nice job, gets his own version of the pancake, allows Bobby to turn it up and go north to south.
1st and 10 now. Aaron Craver checked into the Miami backfield with Hayes. Pedersen play action. Almost picked off. Right into the hands of Damon Winston, the linebacker. He couldn't hold it.
Doug Pedersen, here's his situation. Played in the WLAF with the New York, New Jersey Knights. A decent completion. The real backup quarterbacks are actually here. Scott Secules and Scott Miller. Scott Mitchell with a bad finger on his throwing hand. Secules has a torn pectoral muscle. They may have to put him out for the year. He is figured maybe 4 weeks, but he just hasn't been able to throw a football yet. Mitchell will be back in a couple of weeks.
So Pedersen has had a lot of work through a couple of touchdown passes against Tampa Bay. Play action under pressure. Dumps it off and complete for about 6 yards. Got it out there to James Saxon, another player they're very high on that they got in Plan B from Kansas City.
You talk about having poise. Watch what Pedersen does here. Right part of your screen. Pat Swilling comes unblocked. It's a bootleg. He can see it out of the corner of his eye. You know, the thing about Swilling is you can't see him all the time, but you can feel it. You know his hot breath is coming close. He hangs in, does a nice job with the fake, makes the completion.
3rd down, 3 yards to go now. We're in the 3rd quarter, 14-3 New Orleans. And the Saints are the best in the business at stopping 3rd down conversions. Comes the blitz. Pedersen hangs in there, throws high, intended for Robert Clark, and gunned it over his head. Roby will come in to kick, and Patrick Newman will go back inside his 10-yard line. With age, the only thing different about Reggie Roby is he won't hustle downfield quite as much. This not his best kick, but taken by Newman at the 14-yard line. Roby just trying to pooch it inside the 20. A kick of 40. Play action. No place to go. Throws to Jordan. Somehow got it in there around E.J. Jr. Walsh, of course, one of the Lawrence Welk deals. They gave up a 1 and a 2 and a 3 to get it.
Lawrence Welk. There you see his numbers, 11 TDs, 6 interceptions. Actually had a very good year. He just wasn't able to put up the wins that Bobby Hebert did. He struggled a bit. The team struggled under him. Jim Mora, I felt like the game we did down against him in Atlanta and New Orleans, Mike, that he played a little bit more cautious and close to the vest with Steve Walsh as his quarterback.
2nd and 7 here. Walsh to Buford Jordan. Nice fake. Another nice fake. And Jordan out to the 30-yard line for a 1st down. Walsh had seen very little action in the preseason coming into this game. He had only completed 9 passes out of 15 because Mike Buck had gotten most of the playing time. Why?
Why? Because they know what Steve Walsh can do. Funny you should ask. And Steve Walsh, here's a kid who in 4 days learned the entire system a year ago. So they really feel like he doesn't need to work. They have to see what Mike Buck can do. They wanted to give him some more snaps. So they're not concerned about Walsh. They just want to see what the other guy can do.
Walsh under pressure. Flag is down. So is Walsh. at the 25-yard line. And Larry Webster, the rookie out of Maryland, dragged him down. That is the first, only the second flag we have had down in this ballgame. First one came in the first series.
Illegal use of hands to the face, number 65. Penalty is declined. Second down.
Of course, Walsh, as part of that big trade, if they decline the penalty, commands a lot of money. He's in the last year of his contract. $825,000, and they want to see if Buck can step up to be the number 2 man. You don't want to pay the number 3 guy that much money, right?
You know, I would normally say yes, but the way quarterbacks go down in this league, whatever you spend on a quarterback, darn near worth it. If he can play.
Out to the 33-yard line goes Vaughn Dunbar.
There are the statistics on Hebert and Walsh. Ignore the record for a second. 60% versus 55, 1,600 yards both, 9 TDs versus 11. Now you go back up to the first one. Hebert was 8-1. Walsh only 3-4. And he just didn't get the job done. Period. No way you can sugarcoat it.
3rd and 6 here for Walsh. That one should have been caught through the arms of Marcus Dowdell and then nearly picked off. Walsh, the quarterback out of Miami. Tremendous college quarterback. The potential rap on him coming into the pros, he might not have the great arm, and certainly hasn't shown it.
You know, you don't need a great arm. I mean, Bobby Hebert doesn't have the greatest arm. In this offense, an arm is not the most essential part. Decisions and playmaking and controlling the tempo of the game are the most important factors.
Scott Miller deep to the punt of Tommy Barnhart, who has kicked very well in preseason, and gets off another rocket. Drives Miller all the way back inside the 10, lets it go into the end zone. That punt, 66 yards for Tommy Barnhart. Timeout still. 3rd quarter from Baltimore. The Saints continue to lead the Miami Dolphins 14-3. It is a rock-solid statement that the New Orleans Saints have the best linebacking corps in the NFL. Ricky Jackson has gone to 4 Pro Bowls. Inside linebacker Vaughn Johnson has gone to 3. Inside linebacker Sam Mills, he's gone to 3 of them 2. And Pat Swilling, 3 Pro Bowls in the 1991 NFL Defensive Player of the Year.
There's the rock.
3 seasons. Is that amazing?
Just, and you know, he's not that big. He's only 240, but such tremendous intensity. Reminds me of what Lawrence Taylor was back in the early years. He wasn't stopped. He was relentless. That's what Pat is now.
Bobby Humphrey and Tony Page behind Peterson. Excuse me, Pedersen. Humphrey juking his way out to about the 23-yard line. The Saints converge on him there. Coming up to make the stop, Vaughn Johnson.
In defense of the Miami offense, they started inside the 25 at 6 drives. But Vaughn Johnson is another reason why their offense. Number 53 flows to the ball. He's probably the most complete of the linebackers. See him fight off the blocker, stay with it, closes on Bobby Humphrey. Excellent pass cover, reads the guards very well, plays the run very strong.
And we have a player down. Keith Sims, who is the starting left guard. He has had injury problems, hurt a left knee in 1990, hurt his right knee in 1991. Sunday Night Baseball comes your... Sims able to get off the field under his own power. And he and Webb will form quite a tandem for many years to come on the left side of the Miami line. 56. Here's Humphrey on the draw. Still some very elusive moves tonight. Driven out of bounds from 25 yards. when you get the ball against the Saints defense, somebody is going to drill you before it's over.
Well, if the linebackers don't hit you, you can bet that they have plugged up all the holes. What they do is they force everything outside, and their corners and safeties are very, very good tacklers. So once you get out there, it's no picnic either.
3rd and 4 for the Dolphins, who have only a field goal to show for their night's offensive work. Pedersen will go to the shotgun. Aaron Traver to step back with him. Pedersen airs this one out, incomplete. Tony Martin had a step, but Tyrone Leggett caught him at the last instant. The ball slightly underthrown.
Pedersen just didn't quite get it out far enough. But the other thing is we saw Seafields have one knocked away earlier when Marino scrambles around. Top part of your screen, number 89. He's got him beat now, got great space. Goes up for the ball, waited on it. I really think that what he has to do, and again, remember, here's a guy who was a quarterback in college. He's only played receiver 3 years. He's got to go up, catch the ball at his highest point, and get whatever yards he can.
Roby fumbled the snap, but got it back and punched to Newman from the 36. Breaks a couple of tackles, and got it back to the 40. Newman got all he could out of it, returned it 4 yards after a punt. The Goodyear Blimp providing us with pictures from above Memorial Stadium, courtesy of your local Goodyear retailers and dealers. And a sellout crowd we have here at Memorial Stadium in Baltimore, 60,000 strong to see NFL football return to Baltimore. Vaughn Dunbar. There's a nice hole straight up the middle, crosses the 45 to about the 46-yard line. Dunbar, a first-round draft choice. Like most rookie running backs, he's had problems with certain formations and blitz pickups, which makes quarterbacks very nervous to have a rookie in there.
Well, it does, and Bobby Hebert has expressed that concern, but he'll be used in all likelihood on 1st and 2nd down where the chance of blitzes don't come up that much. But what we saw there is he really has just great, pure running instinct. I mean, he really gets out of the blocks and gets going.
Gained over 3,000 yards in his career at Indiana. Picked up 8 on that last go. 2nd and 2. And Walsh was trying play action. Dunbar went the other way. No place to go, and he's buried back at the 31-yard line. Roosevelt Collins, the 6th-round draft choice out of TCU, sacks him for a loss of 15.
Well, we talked about Vaughn Dunbar and the blitz. There he is right there. He's going to go this way. All these people are coming. Walsh is going to wind up over here, and right there is where Walsh is going to wind up. He's supposed to be a play-action fake. He went the wrong way. You could see the line trying to block, and there's just no hope. I mean, you know what I do in a situation like that? I turn around, throw it to the guy. The guy misses the block, throwing the ball.
Let him eat it, right?
Yeah.
3rd and 14. Straight 4-man rush. Walsh with time over the middle. This will be way shy of the 1st down. They'll just get back short of the original line of scrimmage. Torrance Small made the catch. Lifford Hobley made the tackle.
And Vaughn Dunbar this time looking to pick. What he does is he does a good job of, it's called chipping. When an offensive lineman, that time it was Jeff Cross, comes in rushing, you want to help out the offensive lineman a little bit, give him a good pop, and then sneak out into the backfield.
Well, the Saints scored on their opening 2 possessions. They have not scored since. That's Scott Miller waiting back at the 15 for Barnhart's punt. Miller has dropped down the depth chart as a wide receiver on this club, and he needs to do well kick return. Flag is down, and Miller lost the ball. Got it back inside the 20. Lost 5 on the return after a punt of 36. Troy Vincent, if he was healthy, would probably be back there as the return man. And we'll check the penalty.
During the kick, holding number 35 of the receiving team. Half a distance to the goal. 1st down.
So the Dolphins will have the ball deep in their own. We're in Baltimore. Saints continue to lead it 14-3.
Two guys trying to make this ball club. They realize it's the last preseason game. Kerry Glenn and Tyrone Leggett, number 43 for the Saints. That's where the penalty was, holding. Look at the job Glenn does on him. He's got him out of bounds. He's got him on the ground once. He's up. He's down. He's got him. He's knocked his mouthpiece out of his mouth. Now he throws him to the ground, and the mouthpiece comes up and hits him in the nose.
It looks like best 2 out of 3 falls with a 20-minute time limit to me. Humphrey got maybe a yard, and that's it.
There's Kerry Glenn, a defensive corner, 6th year out of Minnesota. But if he's going to make this football team, it will definitely be on the punt return and as part of the specialty unit. And he does one heck of a job. I mean, you realize if the wingmen don't get downfield, how much room the punt returners are going to have.
And Don Shula, one of the first in the NFL coaching ranks to ever recognize the value of special teams. Pedersen straight back. Now a little half roll. Got a good block from Page. Almost had it picked off. Shoveled it out there right into the hands of Reginald Jones. But he was out of bounds when he caught it. Dangerous play.
You realize if something happens to Pedersen and Marino doesn't want to go back in, we see the cagey old veteran, Jim Jensen, because he's listed as the number 3 quarterback. This is a dash. This is what the Redskins run a lot. Their quarterback sets up and rolls out. Good pressure from the outside to throw it away. Now he just tries to hang it up. You're better off throwing that thing into the 3rd row if you're going to do it.
Boy, what hustle by Jim Wilkes. I mean, he's played in this league for 12 years. He has chronic ankle problems, and there he is in the late in the 3rd quarter of a preseason game, just getting everything he can to the sideline after the quarterback. 3rd and long for Pedersen. And I don't think they beat the play clock.
That's a sigh of frustration by Coach Shula. This has been a wonder. The best thing that happened to him tonight was walking back into Memorial Stadium.
Yeah.
And then his football team started playing, and things have sort of gone away. He didn't get a chance to see any of his offense in the 1st quarter. Now he's watching his 2nd unit struggle a tad.
3rd and long. Pedersen chased out of the pocket, sidearmed it, intercepted, picked off by Brett Maxey. And the safety inside the 15-yard line.
Maxey brought down by number 87, Mike Williams, and number 81, Robert Clark.
Pedersen sidearmed that ball, and Maxey, who roams the middle, picked it off.
Number 37, Jimmy Spencer, on Miller, runs around him now. He looks like he's open in the middle, but Maxey just does a great job of reading the quarterback's eyes. Slides, moves right along. He looked like the intended receiver as he made the adjustment inside.
Maxey with 14 career interceptions for this ball club. And Mike Buck is now into the ball game, and that's what the Saints do so well. They take it away from you on defense. Draw play, Von Dunbar, great job of keeping his balance. Dunbar to the 10. What a cut.
You know what was as impressive as the cut, though, Mike, is once he got upfield, and this is for any young running back in football, watch what he does with the football. He feels the pressure of the defense coming. He'll switch the ball to his other hand away from where it comes. See, it's in his right arm. He's running right. The ball's in his right arm. He cuts back to the left side of the field. Look at the presence. There he is. That switch. There it is. See him moving over away from the defender? That's just great running skills.
1st and 10 Saints. Dunbar trying to go outside, inside the 5 to the 1. Lewis Oliver saved the touchdown, at least momentarily.
Great pure running skills. This time he sees an opening, has the speed to hit it. Offensive line doing an excellent job. Greg Scales with the block, cuts it in. That's a pretty good pop from one heck of a safety, Lewis Oliver.
Joe, this is a team that has gone from wondering who was going to run the football for them, with Hilliard being injured. Alan Pinkett they traded for. He's out for the year with a knee injury. Gil Fenerty retired. McAfee came out of nowhere last year. Now they have 3 guys at tailback who can play in this league. First and goal. Dunbar. T.J. Turner on the bottom of the pile. Excuse me, this is third down coming.
It's one thing to have your defense take the ball away. It's another thing to be able to put points in the board. Look at that. Defense took the ball away 48 times. They put up 125 points. Third in the NFL. Offenses love going short field.
Dunbar got close, but not in. It will bring up fourth down. So the Dolphins trying to stay in this game, already down 14-3, making the goal line stand.
After the first quarter and a little bit, the Dolphin defense has done a great job. Tom Olivadotti doesn't want to show a lot, because don't forget, we're in the last preseason game. They have to protect the opener. You see the flow of the defense. Now it's just a good job, a good push up front by the Miami defenders.
And Morton Anderson trots onto the field, and part of the Memorial Stadium crowd here booing. They wanted to see them go for it on fourth down, but they want to get Anderson some work too.
They may not have seen football for a while here, but they understand they want to see these touchdowns.
Yes, they do. Barnhart to hold it. And Anderson knocks it through. Morton Anderson, last preseason game for these two teams. We're a week away from the regular season. Who do you like in the NFC?
Oh, Mike, I like a number of teams, and we'll give you an idea. The Redskins, of course, defending champions, have excellent strength and balance on offense. Their coaching's been together a long time. Good teams. But the thing is, they're wearing that bullseye. And, you know, once you win a Super Bowl, you have a very short season. So it makes it more and more difficult for you to repeat. Eagles, defense, defense, defense. And, of course, the healthy running Randall Cunningham. Offensive line is always a question. Of course, can you replace Jerome Brown? San Francisco 49ers, 10-6 record. Really wasn't an indication of how good they were last year. Explosive offense. Joe Montana still remains the question mark. And a couple more right after we take a look at the kickoff.
Anderson to kick. Conway and Williams are deep for Miami. Williams from the 3. Cut down before he got to the 20.
Looking at
nice
the other
tackle
teams.
by Sean Lumpkin, excuse me.
No problem. Looking at the other teams in the NFC, Dallas, the 11-5 record. That was against 8 backup quarterbacks last year. Great offensive weapons if they can get them in camp. Tremendous team speed, but a very inexperienced defense. Second toughest schedule in the National Football League. And, of course, the Detroit Lions. That wide-open run and shoot have added Dan Henning to the offense to try and the offensive coaching staff to try and get some stuff, but they still have Barry Sanders and, of course, the offensive line with all the injuries and deaths that they've had, very questionable.
Pedersen has Aaron Craver behind him. Craver will get the carry and out to the 23-yard line. Haven't seen you talk about the New Orleans Saints.
That's because I didn't have enough time. I don't have a graphic made up for them, but you got to figure the Saints, particularly the great thing about them is their defense, linebacker. I mean, they're very dominant there, so you know they're going to be in the top 2 or 3, if not number 1 in the league. Offensively, it looks to me like they're solving their running back problems. They still don't have a lot of speed at wide receiver, but they've got all 4 of them out of this game. But they're going to have to finish in the hunt. The guys that I think are going to be at the top of the heap, I'll tell you who's playing.
Pedersen sidearms it off the hand of Page. Coming out of the backfield, couldn't hold it.
I like the Philadelphia Eagles. I think if Randall Cunningham can stay healthy, we saw on a graphic earlier about Miami's football team. Offensively, they ranked very high, had so-so records. Defensively, the one year they did in the last 6, they ranked high. They got into the playoffs and won a lot of football games. I think the Philadelphia Eagles defensively are the most dominant team in football. I like them to win it all.
Pedersen having a tough quarter so far. 1 out of 7, 7 yards and an interception.
They
faces 3rd and 4 here. Page, not Page, Humphrey couldn't hold it out of the backfield. So Miami will have to kick it away. Good throw that time by Pedersen, and it looks like they would have had the first down. Reggie Roby comes on, and Newman will go deep for New Orleans. Newman was a kid who was on the practice squad last year for New Orleans, 9 weeks, and then activated, played mostly on special teams at the end of the year. Roby with a pretty kick. Newman back to the 24. And we'll get back to the 27-yard line. 52-yard punt. Jim Jensen, the 12-year veteran, down to make the tackle. All of us at ESPN would encourage you to join in and help the Red Cross provide relief for the hurricane victims. If you would like to make a donation by credit card, you can call this 800 number, 1-800-842-2200. If you would like to make your donation by mail, please send it to the American Red Cross Disaster Relief Fund, Post Office Box 37243, Washington, D.C. 20013. So many people need our help right now. New Orleans with Mike Buck at quarterback. And they'll pick up a first down as Fred McAfee comes out of the backfield to make the catch, and Lifford Hobley took him out of bounds.
Lifford Hobley throwing McAfee out of bounds. You know, McAfee's probably their fastest back. He's a real slashing type of runner. And he also, like all the backs for the Saints, is a good receiver out of the backfield.
First down at the 40, and that is the end of the third quarter here at Gold African. Joe Theismann back with you at Memorial Stadium in Baltimore. One of the most interesting stories on Miami's team is longtime veteran Jim Jensen, who you saw make the last tackle on special teams. We talked to Don Shula this morning about his chances of sticking for another year. What do you think?
Well, I personally think that he has a great opportunity to make it. The one thing that Jim Jensen brings to this football team is versatility. He can play so many different positions for you. He can back up as a quarterback. We see him being used as a holder. You know he's an excellent special teams player. And if you get hurt at the running back position, he's been their third down back for so long. I think he has at least one more good year left in him. That's the reason I think he'll probably be around.
Mike Buck gives it off to McAfee, who can't keep his balance and goes down in the backfield. He's hit by Klingbeil, who then covered him.
Number 99, Chuck Klingbeil with the tackle.
One of the things that Jim Jensen is asked to do is holding for field goal. Of course, he was a quarterback in college. Does a nice job of spinning the ball for Stoyanovich.
Loss of 3 yards. Second down and
That's
13.
role number 1. And the other is being a special teams player. Gets no help. This is an unassisted catch on special teams. Wraps it up and puts Newman down.
Second and 13 from Mike Buck. Under pressure screen. McAfee drops it. Set up pretty well on the right side.
Pass intended for Brent McAfee.
So McAfee has dropped a couple. And Buck has not shown you yet the kind of arm he has. They pulled one of the great trick plays, I think, in the history of the NFL last year in the game we did with them against Atlanta. They faked an injury to Walsh and brought Buck in, and he promptly threw 160 yards in the air for a touchdown. And that was it.
One career.
Not bad rating, huh?
No, not bad. I think it's off the chart.
Third and 13. Not this time. Buried on the sack as T.J. Turner came from his left end position. Turner, a very durable player for this team.
T.J. Turner's going to play on the same side as Marco Coleman. Up top, E.J. Jr. in this time, but when you get two good pass rushers on the same side, it's very difficult for teams to double team them. So one of them is going to have to be one-on-one. Usually it's going to be the guy that gets the play.
Barnhart to kick to Miller. Another good punt. Miller back at the 19. Up the sideline, forced out of bounds short of the 40-yard line. Be sure to be with ESPN next Saturday. We'll kick off the opening weekend of college football. It starts at 11:30, College Game Day. Chris Fowler, Lee Corso, and Craig James will preview the entire day of action. Then at 12:30, we go to Columbus, Ohio, as Louisville battles number 19, Ohio State. Then at 7:30, our CFA primetime matchup has the 22nd-ranked Mississippi State Bulldogs against number 25, Texas. Miami takes over, 13:33 left to go in the game. They are down 17-3. Miller out there and knocked away. Jimmy Spencer got a hand on it. Let's check in with Chris Berman. Chris?
All right, Mike, thought you and Joe would like to know this. Teams that go undefeated in the preseason over the last decade, it's a better than 50% shot they make the playoffs. The Jets are looking to go 5-0 up the road a piece at Philadelphia. The block by Pat Chafee and Ken O'Brien looks good again tonight. Terrence Mathis, the touchdown, 19-13 Jets over the Eagles in the fourth.
All right, Chris, thanks very much. And we're back here in Baltimore, and the Miami Dolphins trying to get some offense going against this very tough New Orleans Saints defensive group. Parmalee gets the carry. He's the new tailback. And it will be a first down for Miami. Memorial Stadium in Baltimore, where they lost the Colts, and tonight in an effort to acquire an expansion franchise, have sold more than 60,000 tickets for this game to watch the Dolphins and the Saints battle. And the Saints right now lead at 17-3 with 12:50 to go in the ballgame. Comes the blitz against Pedersen. Sidearms it out there, complete down to the 15-yard line. Mike Williams. A gain of 40. Tyrone Legette beaten and made the tackle.
Tackle by number 43, Tyrone Legette.
All they do is turn Williams loose. Top part of your screen does a little shake at the top. Legette tries to stay with them. Excellent thrown ball. Excellent throw. This is the way you have to throw it. He hangs it up nice and high, just drops it in. Watch this thing come down from the top of your screen. Just lays it right in. Good delivery, good catch, good play.
First and 10, Miami. Play action, Pedersen. Under pressure, Ronaldo Turnbull gets the sack. Here's another guy that can contribute for the Saints, was a defensive end. They're trying to switch him to outside linebacker. He may eventually be the successor to Ricky Jackson, who doesn't look like he's slowing down at all, though.
Ricky's just gotten better year and year, but sooner or later, after 12 years, you know he's going to run out of steam. He's been considered a project by the coaching staff, and his toughest decisions are run-pass decisions. That time, all he had to do was rush the quarterback. It worked out fine. Coach Sidwell really feels like they're going to keep him linebacker and let him learn the position.
Had 9 sacks 2 years ago. Second and 19. Pedersen gives it off to Parmalee. And Parmalee a couple of tough yards.
Most young quarterbacks, Mike, you saw that was second down and long. I really believe that the thing you have to drum into quarterbacks is on 1st and 10. If you're going to run any kind of a play-action pass, you can't take a sack. You either have to throw the ball away or make a completion down underneath, but you can't take a key sack, because then you just really make it difficult to put points on the board and move the stick.
Well, they have 3rd and 16 now. 4-man rush. Pedersen throws over the middle, complete, but that's going to be short of a first down. The Dolphins get the loose ball back at the 17, but it won't make much of a difference.
I think now it's just a question of what Coach Shula wants to look at. If he wants to look at the kicking game some more, he'll bring his kickers in. If he wants to look at his offense spread out, he'll look at it. Obviously, he's interested in the kicking game.
Something the fans don't necessarily understand all the time in preseason games. There are certain things that you need to work on because, as we said, the season is only a week away, and there is Jensen, who will do the holding duties again.
4th down and 8.
Stojanovic, 1-for-1 tonight from 47 yards out.
Oh, yes, he got a live leg. And watch, 56 yards during one. I mean, their ball was gone, too. Bang, out of here.
This will be a 33-yard attempt.
32-yard drive.
And he's been excellent in the closing seconds of ball games, too, over the years for this club. Stojanovic hooked that one, and it's wide. So the lead stays at 14 points. We have 10:04 to go in the game.
This ESPN NFL special is brought to you by new STP engine treatment. Help stop engine wear before you start. And by Pioneer Electronics, innovators of detachable face security to protect your car stereo.
Mike Patrick and Joe Theismann with you. We're in Baltimore, where New Orleans is leading Miami 17-3, 10:04 to go in the game. Saints have the ball back at their own 20. Vaughn Dunbar grinding it out across the 25, go back to 26. Adelphi Cable, our affiliate in the West Palm Beach area, held a telethon this evening to raise funds for the hurricane victims. We're proud of Adelphia Cable for taking the lead in aiding the relief cause. And Cox Cable, our affiliate in the New Orleans area, in conjunction with the Freeport McMoran Company, has already donated $125,000 to the Red Cross to aid the relief efforts in Louisiana. Very proud of Cox Cable for spearheading the relief effort. So many people in need right now. Saints keep the ball on the ground right now. Let's check in with Chris Berman. Chris.
All right, Michael, another game going on just underway out of the left coast at the Murph. The Rams and the Chargers, and Stan Humphries getting the start for the Chargers. Looks good. Hooks up with Anthony Miller here. Leads to a 2-yard touchdown run by Rod Bernstein. San Diego, the Lightning Bolts, with the early obligatory 7-0 lead over the Rams.
All right, Chris, and you know, Bobby Beathard, the general manager of the Chargers, the former general manager of the Redskins, has wanted Stan Humphries for a long time. Finally got it.
Well, it took him 2 years to finally make the deal. When Freeze got hurt, he was the obvious choice for him because he was familiar with the system.
Dunbar, the single setback, and he will get the carry and won't get much of it as the Dolphins jammed it up that time and will bring up a punt.
Window. And Roosevelt Collins on the stop. Loss of
Under 8.5 minutes to go.
4th down and 3.
Coach Shuler's got to be a lot more happy with what he's seeing from his defense tonight after the first quarter. He's done an excellent job of shutting down the Saints.
Barnhart to kick to Scott Miller. Low line drive kick, and it will bounce out of bounds at around the 38-yard line. A kick of only 34 yards to no return. 7:49. Don Shula entering his 30th year as an NFL head coach, and of course he is chasing the legendary George Halas for all-time victories. Right now he is only 325 to 306. Still should catch that within 2 years. 19 wins for Don Shula. In fact, he may be within 18 because the Hall of Fame investigating a report that George Halas may have been credited with 1 win while he was aboard ship in the Navy. And they may actually take a win away from George Halas.
How tough is George Halas to win a game when he's on a boat somewhere? I mean, that's unbelievable.
Doug Wellsant made the catch, the tight end. And the league will announce next week when it has completed its investigation of whether that is actually a fact, and they will take a game away from George Halas.
Something that has set Don Shula apart from a lot of coaches is he has adjusted to different types of teams to win. In the 70s, he had Greasy and Zonka pounding the ball out. In the 80s and 90s, he's had Marino airing it out, and he's still winning with different styles of football.
Craver will pick up a couple, gets to midfield. And, of course, you don't win without great players, and Don Shula, of course, has had them over the years. Here's how many he has won, broken down by quarterback. Bob Greasy, the most. Dan Marino, John Unitas. Now, those are three pretty good chuckers.
That's a decent amount of wins, too, out of these guys.
But he's gotten wins out of some other guys. You know, David Woodley and Don Strock had some excellent years with him. Earl Morrill, the veteran backup, who also played quite a bit for Don Shula.
There's a guy who'll break every record, I'm sure, in the National Football League at some point in his career.
1st and 10 for Pedersen. Throws complete to Tony Page, and the big guy rumbles down to the 31. A flag down at the end of the play. Gain of 19. Gene Atkins, another one of those players who ended a holdout just this week.
Offensive pass interference, number 88, 10 yards, repeat first down.
Dave Moore now wearing number 88, which did belong to Doug Wellsant. Rookie out of Pitt called for the offensive interference.
That's one of the calls you just don't see a whole lot. If the tight end gets his hands away from his body, they're going to throw the flag. But if you just bump into a linebacker or a DB, make contact, drop a shoulder, they're not going to pick the flag out. That time he must have got his hands away from it.
Makes it 1st and 20. Clock running, 6:07 to go in this game. Miami down by 2 touchdowns. Pedersen with good protection. Throws in the flat, knocked away. Outstanding play out there by Joel Smengi, the outside linebacker who dove over the intended receiver and got a piece of it. Ted Hendricks here tonight, played with the Colts for the 4 years before he went with the Raiders. Oh, what a great outside linebacker he was.
Yeah, there's some great outside linebackers in this place tonight.
Yes, sir.
Ricky Jackson, Pat Cerulean, of course, Ted sitting up watching the game. I had to play against him in Super Bowl 18. Most miserable day of my life.
2nd and 20 for Pedersen. Wants a screen. Throws it sidearm, completes it out there to Craver. Craver makes a couple of nice moves. This is what they wanted to see a year ago out of Aaron Craver. The ability to catch the ball and then make people miss after he caught it. Gain of 19.
19-yard play.
Dolphins are counting very heavily on Craver to be their 3rd down back. Pedersen does a nice job of setting it up. Now he's basically in the open field. He's got Smengi. Oh, with a nice move. In and out. Dip the shoulder. Pick up additional yardage. He gets hit by the 2 starting safeties of the Saints. The Saints haven't pulled their people out yet.
Of course, Maxey and Atkins need to work because they both have long holdouts. Bernie Parmalee knocked out of bounds by Scott Ross.
Taken out of bounds by number 55, Scott Ross.
There's Bubba Smith, now actor full-time, who was a defensive lineman here and just a terror.
1st down and 10.
Hard to imagine when you see the people that came out for this game tonight, the number of great players this franchise had in the last 20 years that it existed. I mean, they were just incredible.
They'd love to have it back to start the next generation of great players here in Baltimore.
1st and 10 Miami. Pedersen on the roll. Sidearms one deep. Tipped away, incomplete. Intended down there for Robert Clark. Double coverage by the New Orleans Saints.
Intended for Robert Clark.
Brett Maxey back, got a hand on it, slapped it away.
Brett Maxey
back there with Tyrone Leggett, the rookie out of Nebraska. Maxey is the safety. He's a guy who only has 4.8 speed. But a strong safety who's a big hitter and smart can get away with it.
I think the last one is the most important, Mike. If you're smart, if you read formations and you read patterns quickly, you don't need a lot of speed to get yourself in the right place.
And knowing where to be is sometimes a lot better than being able to get there in a hurry. Sidearmed again, this time complete down to the 24-yard line. Scott Miller makes the grab, a gain of 17.
On the stop, number 37,
Jimmy Spencer, the free agent out of Florida, made the tackle.
Doug Pedersen, here's a guy who plays for the New York, New Jersey Knights, which is a run-and-shoot offense. And Mouse Davis comes into the the Miami Dolphin offense, which is more of a classic style because it has a tight end, and does just a very good job adjusting and handling the ball club.
Now, people used to say you would sidearm the ball a little bit, but you never threw it this low.
And they were right.
A little more over the top this time to the corner and out of bounds.
I'll tell you, as long as I got the results that he is getting, I didn't care how I threw it. Now, if you want to talk sidearm throwers, we can discuss Mr. Kozar in Cleveland.
That's right.
Does a good job of surveying the entire field, sets, and when you can't follow through, the ball's going to sail on you. Martin doing a nice job of putting pressure on Pedersen.
The Saints only have 5 defensive linemen on the roster right now, so we've seen the starters shuttling in and out all night long. Dolphins taking a lot of time off the clock on this side, but it has been impressive behind Pedersen. Draw play again to Parmalee. Clock continues to wind down. We're at 3:42. Carl Dunbar makes the stop. Pleased to have the Goodyear Blimp Spirit with us tonight from Akron, Ohio. It is providing all of our aerial views with pilot Aaron Jenkins at the controls. Also providing our aerial views, I guess. Whatever those are.
They're, I don't know. I'm not going to try and bail you out on that one, Paul.
Thank you.
You're on your own.
3rd and 6. Pedersen tipped and intercepted. Picked off by Gene Atkins. To the 29-yard line. He had a career-high 5 interceptions a year ago, and he picked that one off. Scott Miller had to make the tackle. There's a timeout on the field. We'll be back in a moment. Knocked them off. A win guaranteed by Broadway Joe Namath. Mike Buck will give her off to Dunbar, and Dunbar high-stepping out to the 40-yard line. Brought down by Mike Iquinoa.
You know, the problem with the Saints for the Dolphins is no matter who they put back at running back, it's going to be difficult to bring down. You got McAfee, Hilliard, Dunbar, Jordan, Hayward. Whichever one back you want to put back, they all run hard, they all run low, and they all complement one another.
Certainly do, and Dunbar, 12 carries, 62 yards.
Interesting role for Dalton Hilliard now on this football team. Here's a guy who's really had to become the leader, the teacher, only in his 7th year. Last couple of years been nicked up a lot.
Dunbar will get the carry again and wrapped up immediately by T.J. Turner. And the Saints appear very comfortable to let the clock run down. 2:19 to go. But the Dolphins apparently have stopped it right now.
There's Dalton Hilliard along with Craig Hayward. It's interesting. Dalton, I asked him about his health and what kind of year he thought he'd have. And he made me this promise. He said, if I am healthy, you will hear from me. And I believe that. I really believe it. He'll be the guy that you'll see on 3rd down if they feature Dunbar on 1st and 2nd. Of course, if they want to swing in, like I said, McAfee and Hayward, they're sitting there waiting as well as Jordan.
Well, Dalton's been hurt for a couple of years. He is a former Pro Bowler. Coming up after our Ballgame Sports Center, Dan Patrick, Keith Olbermann standing by, and we'll bring you up to date on the trade of David Cone, who goes to Toronto, the Colts. What about their quarterback situation? The Bears pull a trade and a preseason preview of the Raiders, and that's followed by baseball tonight. John Saunders and Ray Knight standing by for that. Miami used the timeout to stop the clock with 2:19 to go in the game. And Dunbar out of the eye, gaping hole. Vaughn Dunbar to the Miami 45-yard line.
He just doesn't give you a lot of shake and bake. He just puts the ball away, heads upfield. Is a great instinctive runner. Great.
That's
Repeat,
Chris
3rd down.
Fort, the right tackle, called for a personal foul. So that will back him up 15 yards. And with only 12 seconds to go, we may be facing the final play. Yes, sir. Sports Center is next. This kid's bright. They don't miss a thing here in Baltimore, do they?
He's also got a rush to get home.
Hoosiers belong in Indiana, Colts belong in Baltimore. Well, you'd have a tough time arguing that with 60,000 people here tonight. Jordan is single setback behind Mike Buck. And Jordan will get the carry. Picked up a couple. Dwight Hollier again in on the tackle. And John Shula will lead the field seeing his team lose its final preseason game of 1992. Our final score, the New Orleans Saints 17, the Miami Dolphins